A journalist with an average memory trained for 1 year and became a United States memory champion. The ancient technique he used can memorize a shuffled deck of cards in under 2 minutes. And your brain is already designed to do this. Here is exactly how it works. In 2011, journalist Joshua Foer published Moonwalking with Einstein after spending a year investigating the world of competitive memory. What started as a simple magazine assignment became an obsession. He discovered that memory champions are not born with special brains. They use techniques that are over 2,000 years old. The ancient Greeks called it the method of Loci, and it transforms how information sticks in your mind. But here is what nobody tells you about this technique. The reason it works has nothing to do with memorization as you know it. It exploits a hidden feature of your brain that evolution built for survival. And once you understand this feature, you will never forget the same way again. The secret lies in something called spatial memory, and it changes everything. Your brain is terrible at remembering facts and figures. Try memorizing a random 40-digit number right now. Impossible, right? But your brain is extraordinary at remembering places. Close your eyes and walk through your childhood home. You can probably describe every room, every corner, every piece of furniture. That is spatial memory. It evolved over millions of years because our ancestors who remembered where to find food and avoid predators survived. Those who forgot did not. Here is the fascinating part. Memory champions hijack this ancient survival system. They convert boring information into vivid images and place those images in locations they already know. Your brain treats these imaginary scenes as real experiences. If you are learning something new here, that like button helps more than you know. The Greeks discovered this by accident when a poet named Simonides survived a building collapse. Let me tell you the story that started everything. Around 500 BCE, the poet Simonides was hired to perform at a wealthy nobleman's banquet. Midway through dinner, he stepped outside. Moments later, the entire building collapsed, killing everyone inside. The bodies were so mangled that families could not identify their loved ones. But Simonides realized something remarkable. He could remember exactly where each guest had been sitting. By mentally walking through the room, he identified every single person. This tragedy birthed the method of Loci. Simonides understood that by placing information in specific locations within an imagined space, you could retrieve it perfectly. Think about that for a second. A 2,500-year-old technique discovered by accident still outperforms every modern study method ever tested. But here is where it gets even stranger. Modern neuroscience has proven exactly why this works. In 2003, researchers in London put memory champions into brain scanners while they performed extraordinary feats of recall. What they discovered shocked the scientific community. The memory champions had completely ordinary brains. No larger hippocampus, no special structures, nothing physically different. But when they memorized information, their brains did something unusual. The spatial navigation regions lit up intensely, the same areas you use to remember how to get to work or navigate your neighborhood. These champions were literally walking through imaginary buildings in their minds. Their brains could not distinguish between actually walking through a palace and imagining walking through a palace. This is why the technique works. Your brain processes vivid imagined experiences almost identically to real ones. And this leads to something even more powerful that we will explore shortly. But that is not even the most remarkable part. Here is where everything changes. Joshua Foer was not satisfied with just understanding the science. He wanted to prove that anyone could do this. A journalist with average memory entered the United States Memory Championship, and he won. 1 year of training. No natural gifts, just technique. What would you have done with that kind of ability? The specific method he used involves 3 principles that transform how your brain encodes information. First, you must create a memory palace, a place you know intimately. Second, you must convert information into bizarre, vivid, unforgettable images. Third, you must place those images in specific locations within your palace. Each principle builds on the others. If you want to see exactly how to apply this, make sure you are subscribed because the practical steps are coming. But first, you need to understand why bizarre images work better than normal ones. Your brain is wired to remember the extraordinary and forget the ordinary. Imagine I asked you to remember a grocery list. Milk, eggs, bread, apples. You would probably forget half of it by tomorrow. Now imagine a giant milk carton wearing sunglasses, dancing on your front porch. An egg the size of a car cracking open to reveal a chicken driving a motorcycle. That is disturbing. That is bizarre. And you will never forget it. This is called the von Riesdorf effect. Unusual things demand attention, and attention creates memory. Memory champions create the most absurd, sometimes inappropriate, always unforgettable mental images. The stranger the image, the stickier the memory. Now here is the technique that ties everything together. Drop your prediction in the comments about how quickly you could memorize a deck of cards using this method. Because what comes next is the practical application. Here is exactly how to build your first memory palace. Choose a place you know perfectly, your childhood home, your apartment, your daily walking route. Now mentally walk through it and identify 10 specific locations. The front door, the coat rack, the living room couch. Each location becomes a mental filing cabinet. To memorize a list, you create one vivid image per item and place it at each location. Want to remember the first 10 elements of the periodic table? Hydrogen becomes a blimp floating at your front door because hydrogen is lighter than air. Helium becomes a squeaky-voiced balloon attached to your coat rack. Lithium becomes a giant battery powering your living room lamp. When you need to recall them, you simply walk through your palace. The images appear in order every single time. This is not theory. Memory champions memorize the order of a shuffled deck of cards in under 2 minutes using exactly this method. The applications extend far beyond party tricks. Medical students use memory palaces to memorize thousands of drug interactions. Language learners encode vocabulary 10 times faster. Lawyers recall case precedents in courtrooms. Executives remember every name at networking events. Joshua Foer writes that the real gift of trained memory is not perfect recall. It is attention. When you create vivid images for information, you must truly engage with it. You cannot passively skim. You must actively transform. This deep processing creates understanding, not just memory. The irony is beautiful. A technique designed to help you remember actually teaches you how to pay attention. And attention, as Foer discovered, is the foundation of everything meaningful. In our distracted age, perhaps that is the most valuable lesson of all. Let me share the daily practice that builds this skill. Start with just 10 items. A grocery list, a to-do list, the main points of an article you read. Build your palace. Create your images. Walk through mentally. Do this once daily for 2 weeks. By week 3, expand to 20 items. By month 2, you will be memorizing entire book chapters. The key is consistency over intensity. 15 minutes daily beats 3 hours once a week. Your brain is building new neural pathways, and pathways strengthen through repetition. Memory researchers call this spaced repetition. Review your palaces at increasing intervals. Once a day, then once every 2 days, then weekly. Each review strengthens the connections. Within 3 months, you will astound yourself with what you can remember. The ancient Greeks knew this secret. Now you do too. But here is the truth that memory champions rarely admit. This technique has a hidden cost. Once you train your memory this way, you can never go back to passive consumption. You will read a book differently, watch videos differently, have conversations differently. Your brain will automatically start converting information into images. You will catch yourself building palaces for interesting facts. Is this a burden or a gift? Joshua Foer answers this directly. Before his training, he read books and forgot them. After, he consumed fewer books but understood them deeply. Quality replaced quantity. And in our age of infinite information and shrinking attention spans, perhaps that trade is exactly what we need. The question is whether you are willing to make it. So let me bring this full circle. A poet survives a building collapse 2,500 years ago and discovers that spatial memory can preserve anything. A journalist proves that technique beats talent. Neuroscience confirms what the ancients knew intuitively. And now you hold the same knowledge that memory champions use. The question is not whether your brain is capable. The science proves it is. The question is whether you will practice. Joshua Foer spent 1 year. Most people never start. But the palaces you build in your mind today will serve you for the rest of your life. Every name, every fact, every insight, stored in rooms you construct with your imagination. The Greeks gave us democracy, philosophy, and the memory palace. Perhaps it is time we reclaimed all three. The first step is simple. Close your eyes, picture your front door, and begin. Now you know why a 2,500-year-old technique still outperforms every modern study method. The memory palace is not magic. It is science meeting ancient wisdom. If this changed how you think about memory, subscribe for more book wisdom every week. I read these books so you can apply the insights. What skill would you most like to improve with a memory palace? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And next week, we explore another book that transforms how you think.